2 of Italy's Rally Sardinia, round 7 of the World Rally Championship. These are some of the roughest, toughest gravel stages in the championship, but on the first morning it wasn't the big rocks that concerned championship leader Sebastian Loeb, but the smallest bits of sand and gravel. As first car on the road, he was struggling to find grip on the slippery surface, and while he was losing time, those behind him were taking advantage of the clean line he was leaving. Marcus Gronholm, Loeb's main rival for the championship, made nearly 10 seconds on the Frenchman on the opening stages. Subaru's Chris Atkinson was another taking advantage of his road position. He was third fastest on the opening stage. While both Solberg brothers were also faster than Loeb. But the biggest winner was Jari-Matti Latvala. The 22-year-old Finn was 6.7 seconds faster than the field on the first stage, and his Stobart VK Ford was still ahead of the field at the end of the 3 stages that made up the morning loop.
It was an amazing morning for me, and I was very surprised. But okay, we are all, we are coming quite behind, so we have a clean road. We have to remember that it might be another story in the afternoon.
The afternoon stages were repeat runs of those in the morning, but while much of the slippery gravel may have been cleared, there would now be some big rocks and deep ruts exposed to test the car's wheels and suspension. Although it was another hazard of these stages, a roadside tree that slowed Finland's Juho Hännenen's Mitsubishi. Peter Solberg was having to tackle these stages with defective brakes. This problem had already cost him 10 seconds, a penalty for being late out of service, and it would cost him more time through the rest of the day. But all was looking good with Gronholm as he took the lead from Latvala on stage 4. Sebastian Loeb was also starting to find more speed on this stage, but significantly he was 6 seconds slower than Gronholm and just 0.7 of a second faster than Latvala. But on the following stage, Terranova, the Sardinian road, started to get the better of the cars. Chris Atkinson damaged his engine when he became beached on a roadside rock. And just 4 kilometres into the stage, Latvala's front left wheel caught another rock. His suspension was broken, a hugely disappointing end to what had been a great day for one of the WRC's up-and-coming talents. Gronholm was now looking to take maximum advantage, but it would be the front left of his car that would bring his downfall. Those flames are from his damper. An impact had caused all the fluid to drain away. He could continue, but with the car diving and kicking all over the place, he was losing time.
Suddenly in one braking, it came fire from the front left, and then the shock absorber is like this. Nothing, it's broken. I don't know if I can go through the next.
Gronholm did make it through the next stage, the last of the day, but by then he'd lost the lead. The man now at the head of the field, who else but Sebastian Loeb? The Frenchman had tamed these stages, and more importantly, so had his Citroën C4.
It was a rough day in the afternoon. It was some big storms and easy to have some tire or suspension problem, and for me it was okay, no problem, so I'm happy with the car.
Marcus Gronholm is still second, but he's 22.4 seconds behind Loeb going into the second day. Mika Hirvonen stayed out of trouble to end day 1 in third, and he's just 6.7 seconds behind Gronholm. Henning Solberg is less than 4 seconds behind in fourth. Danny Sordo is fifth. Sardinia is the second biggest island on the Mediterranean Sea. It lies off the west coast of the Italian mainland, about an hour's flying time from the nation's capital, Rome. The rally takes place in the north of the island, around the city of Olbia. There are 6 stages today, totaling 143 kilometres. So, plenty of positions to fight over in the top 8 this morning. Peter Solberg begins the second morning, just 2.7 seconds behind Danny Sordo. It's been a similar pattern to some of the recent rallies for Petter so far in Italy. Very impressive speed early on, but for whatever reason has tailed off as the weekend progresses. At least he's still in the rally though, and will hope to use every kilometre to improve the handling of the Impreza. Plenty of fans out there this morning enjoying the Sardinian sunshine. Petter will be determined to get back into the top 5. So what can Sordo do to keep him behind? The Spaniard steadily improved as the day progressed yesterday, and with a podium finish here last year, Danny certainly has pedigree in Sardinia. Mikko Hirvonen too is in the thick of things in the top 5. He's currently in third, just 3.8 seconds ahead of Henning Solberg and 6.7 behind his teammate Marcus Gronholm. Gronholm, of course, has his own concerns. The Finn has the task of chasing down triple world champion Sebastian Loeb with over 22 seconds to make up. This is no easy challenge ahead. And there is the rally leader about to start stage 7. Another good, clean getaway from Sebastian. Well, the Frenchman left it late yesterday, but he managed to get his nose in front by the end of the first leg. And once he does that, Loeb very, very rarely slips up. Some very fast sections on this stage, and Seb certainly not holding back. Back with Loeb's young Spanish teammate now, and Danny Sordo looks in determined mood this morning. It's a terrific start to the day for Danny. He's nearly 7 seconds quicker than Petter Solberg, and at the same time, he's closed the gap on Petter's brother Henning. The Stobart Ford driver, remember, is just 3.8 seconds behind Mikko Hirvonen coming into this stage, so plenty of incentive for the Norwegian to attack too. He sets a time of 14 minutes 3.9 seconds, which is 7.8 slower than Sordo. Rejoining Hirvonen now, so we'll soon know if he's been able to stay ahead of Henning. There's the Norwegian's time, and I think Mikko's going to be quicker. Yes, there's the yellow boards. A good start to the day for Hirvonen. He's fastest through so far, and the gap to Henning Solberg is now 19.5 seconds. So as Gronholm bears down on the finish boards now, it's his younger teammate who's setting the pace so far. The Finn, of course, is concentrating on catching Loeb, but first he needs to see off the challenge from Hirvonen. Comparing the 2-4 drivers with virtual spectator. And Gronholm is clearly ahead. That's the time he needs to stay in front. And with just the last few corners to come, he should be safe here. Yes, he's much quicker and is now 12 seconds ahead.
It was what I was expecting. Yesterday we had a good fight and feeling, and we could have the gap, but now he is behind us, controlling a little bit again. 1 second here and 1 second there. So
Marcus now the man to beat, and as Loeb makes his way through the final kilometre, the Frenchman will continue to monitor the Finn's split times. The crowds lining the stage cheer him on. Up to this point, he's managed to do just enough to stay ahead, a second or so up on Marcus on all split times so far. But can he maintain that to the finish? Yes, he does. 2.3 seconds faster. His overall lead now 24.7.
Sebastian, that's 2.3 quicker than Marcus. He said that you're running behind him and now just controlling your speed to his.
Very easy to say. I'm pushing hard because I know it's very difficult to go just one step down, and so I have to be on the maximum if I want to contain his speed. So I've done what I could.
Do you think he's still driving too fast for you to be comfortable and happy?
Yes.
No changes in position after the first stage of day 2 then. And as you've seen, all the major contenders consolidating their positions. Day 2 of the Rally d'Italia continues after the break. Welcome back to Italy, where Sebastian Loeb currently leads the Rally Sardinia by 24.7 seconds ahead of Marcus Grönholm, and we're about to move on to the 29-kilometre Monte Lerno stage. Yesterday's hero Jari-Matti Latvala has restarted the second day under the Super Rally restart rule. With 10 minutes of penalties for the 2 stages he didn't compete though. He began down in 14th. It's all about gaining experience now for the 22-year-old. Understandably, his searing pace from yesterday has dropped off, although he does gain a couple of places on stage 8. Manfred Stoll is currently running in the final point-scoring place in 8th. The Austrian is the only remaining OMV Kronos Citroën running after the withdrawal of Daniel Carlsen before the event started. It's been another consistent performance from Manfred today as he seeks to close on the man in 7th. Thousands of fans here at Monte Lerno's famous jump. And that man in 7th is the returning Tony Gardemeister. The former Works 4 driver is again entered in a privately entered Mitsubishi Lancer. It's great to see the return of the Japanese manufacturer, and for now the Finn maintains his half-a-minute advantage ahead of Stoll. Back at the sharp end meanwhile, and Marcus Grönholm is continuing to keep the pressure on rally leader Sebastian Loeb. He's already suffered a setback on the first stage this morning when he was unable to make up any time on the Frenchman. It's a very different story to yesterday when he comfortably beat the world champion on more than one occasion. There's a problem for Marcus on this stage though. It turns out he's caught something and his rear bumper's been ripped off, taking the spare wheel which is tethered behind with it. This is not only a concern if he gets a puncture, it will also obviously affect the overall weight of the car, which could have implications when he returns to service. Grönholm possibly in trouble then, which is more good news for Sebastian Loeb. He's already 24.7 seconds ahead of the foreman, so the world champion could strike a killer blow on the Finns' dwindling hopes of victory here. Oh, and there's Marcus's spare wheel. That could have been very nasty if he'd come across that in the middle of the corner. Bit of a scare then, but it doesn't stop him again setting the fastest time. Another 4.3 seconds quicker than Grönholm. One more stage to come this morning before the return to the service park in Olbia. And straight back with Marcus Grönholm now, whose car may not be handling as well as it should with that missing weight from the rear of the car. There's more bad news for the Finn. He's picked up a puncture somewhere. The run flat mousse has activated, so it shouldn't affect him too much, but it's just another distraction for Ford's number 1 that will hamper his pursuit of Loeb. He only manages the 4th fastest time, 12.5 seconds behind stage winner Sebastian Loeb. Again, all the positions on the leaderboard are unchanged, but Grönholm is now a daunting 41.5 seconds behind Loeb, while his teammate Mikko Hirvonen is now less than 10 seconds behind in 3rd. The real worry for Marcus, though, will come as he reaches the weighing scales at the service park. Well, that's where the offending wheel should be, but it's absent from Gronholm's focus. Here's Ford's team boss Malcolm Wilson with his assessment of the situation as the crews arrive back at service.
Marcus has, somewhere took a big impact, so it's obviously lost his broke the spare wheel retaining strap. So we just basically have to see now what the situation is. We've actually located the wheel, so that's now at the way in for the scrutiny, so at least they know what the total weight of the car is, and then we have to see then what. But if you look at the times, Marcus has lost time on so there's been no performance gain in any way, shape or form, and as I say, it's no distance to Sebastian coming back with only 3 wheelers last year in Greece.
Luckily for me, it was in the entry of a fast corner, but I could see the wheel before I entered in the corner, so I could avoid it. But I think if it was in just 3 or 5 meters after, it would be very bad for me.
Do you think this is a new tactic from Ford to have an ejector tyre?
Yeah, maybe Mr. Loriot has something behind the head.
And there is the Ford Focus designer, Christian Loriot, alongside Malcolm Wilson, as Gronholm's car goes onto the weighbridge. There's a set of heavy-duty scales under each wheel there. Well, the Ford management seem quite relaxed, and they soon get the news that there was no case to answer, as the car was above the minimum weight of 1,230 kilograms. So, back up to the hills to the north of the service park in Olbia, and repeated runs of the 3 stages used this morning. Well, it's been a frustrating start to the day for Marcus Gronholm. His hopes of challenging Loeb for the win have taken a real knock after the problems over the second 2 stages this morning. But it's not over yet. There are still 9 stages to come to eat away at the world champion's advantage. The Focus certainly seems a lot more balanced this afternoon. This is a very technical, twisty section through here, and all seems good with Marcus as he beats his teammate Hirvonen by 8.4 seconds. So Marcus in fine form then on stage 10, but will it be too little, too late in terms of catching Loeb? The Frenchman, of course, has won the Rally d'Italia for the past 2 seasons. He seems to be the master of adapting to its changeable, undulating landscape. He can't quite match Marcus, though, here. He's slower, only by 1.6 seconds. Danny Sordo, meanwhile, has been steadily closing on Henning Solberg in 4th place all day, and with another good time from the Spaniard here on stage 10, he's closed the gap between them to 16.4 seconds. Behind Sordo, it's still Petter Solberg, Tony Gardemeister and Manfred Stoll occupying the lower order. At the top, Loeb's lead over Gronholm, back under 40 seconds. Hirvonen is now 18 seconds further back in 3rd. The Italian rally fans and those from further afield enjoying their day out in the Sardinian sun. They'll be looking forward to the last 2 stages of the day. You can see those after the break. Welcome back to Sardinia, where it's been a very cagey second leg of the Rally d'Italia. Most positions in the top 6 look reasonably secure, with leader Sebastian Loeb holding a comfortable advantage of nearly 40 seconds. Before we move on to the final pair of stages, a chance now to catch up with some drivers further down the order. Young Finn Juho Hänninen is having an eventful rally. He already hit a tree yesterday, and his co-driver's been struggling with food poisoning. Despite that, he's running just outside the points in 9th. Former leader Jari-Matti Latvala has slowly but surely made his way up the leaderboard today. He started the day down in 14th after the 10 minutes of time penalties he accrued for missing the final 2 stages yesterday, but is already up to 10th and has an outside chance of making it back into the points. Federico Villagra has replaced compatriot Juan Pablo Reyes at Munchies Ford. The Argentinian won the production class at his home event, but on his debut in a World Rally car, it's been a steep learning curve. He's currently down in 11th. Chris Atkinson's another driver competing under the Super Rally restart rule. Every kilometre competed, though, gives the team more opportunity to continue development of the new Impreza. He's 12th. Matthew Wilson's torrid weekend, meanwhile, has shown little sign of improving. He was in 9th at the start of the day, but after getting stuck in the dust of a struggling Mads Osberg on stage 7, he lost another minute. The young Brit confronted Osberg at the end of the stage. But worse was to come on stage 10, a collision with a rock ending his day. Well, Luis Perez Compag has also finished for the day. He went off and out on stage 8. Moving into the final pair of stages of day 2 now then, and there's one fight for position beginning to look rather interesting. Danny Sordo has quietly and efficiently edged closer and closer to the forward of Henning Solberg throughout the day. He started this morning over 45 seconds adrift, but coming into stage 11, the gap is down to just 16.4. So the pressure building on the Norwegian then this afternoon. It's been a good weekend so far for the Stobart VK Ford man, but Sordo really has stepped up a gear. By the end of the penultimate stage of the day, Henning's advantage is just 9.4 seconds.
Line til kort 4 venstre pluss 15.
On to the final stage of the leg now then, the 19 kilometres of Su-Filagusu. Danny knows that 4th position is within his reach, and he's giving it everything here to grasp it. That's the time he needs to beat to claim the place, and this is looking very good for Sordo. Yes, a terrific effort from the Spaniard this afternoon. He's up to 4th, and now 10.3 seconds ahead of Henning. Mikko Hirvonen, meanwhile, may not have given up yet on challenging his teammate for 2nd place. He comes into stage 11, 18.2 seconds behind Gronholm. Of course, Mikko has already beaten his compatriot once this year on the snow of Norway, and after finishing 2nd in Sardinia last year, he knows he has the pace to do well here. It's not to be, however. A sluggish time from Hirvonen on stage 11 sees Gronholm stretch the gap to nearly 40 seconds. There is a minor worry for Ford's number 1, though. There's a stewards meeting scheduled later to discuss him returning back to service earlier without his spare wheel. Rules state they should return with all 5 wheels they went out with, although this is at the discretion of the stewards. But there are many precedents which suggest they will accept this was a racing incident when no advantage was gained.
Is it kind of game over, or are you still having a go?
No, I'm trying to go, but I don't know his times now, what he's doing.
There is little to worry leader Sebastian Loeb, meanwhile. He already has a lead of around 40 seconds, so no need for heroics from the world champion. Safely through the water splash there. Seaboard really has passed every challenge asked of it since its debut in Monte Carlo back in January. And Seb still pushing hard despite his big lead. Oh, a big slide there from the Frenchman. He finishes 2nd behind Gronholm on this final stage of the day. So Loeb's lead trims slightly then as we head into the final overnight break. 36.5 seconds is still a considerable margin that Gronholm must keep pushing, as just one rock could turn things around. Hirvonen remains 3rd, while Danny Sordo is now up to 4th ahead of Henning Solberg. Petter Solberg, Tony Gardemeister and Manfred Stoller in the positions they've been in all day, 6th, 7th and 8th.
In more than 3 words, can you sum up your day for me today?
Not very good today. That's 4.
It was awful this morning. What was your performance like this afternoon?
It was okay, but when the gap is more than 20 seconds with Seb, it's difficult to catch, and it's nearly impossible. But we had too much trouble today and yesterday, so it's not possible to win.
Marcus is still going very fast, but the fight is not really close now. We have a good lead, it's also nice to have a good lead. It's also what we try to do since the start of the rally, and now we have 36 seconds. It's a good gap for tomorrow. I hope we can keep that and try to win the rally.
Loeb's getting close to a 4th consecutive victory this season, but there are still 6 tricky stages to run on day 3. You can keep up to date with all the news and results from Rally d'Italia at WRC.com, and we'll see you tomorrow.